All right. Welcome back to My Life, Sam Radford. On this episode, we have Hollister California legend, GoldShards, Death Dealers Anonymous, OG in the game, over 78 battles on camera and online, Reverse Live, aka Cody. Thanks
Damn,
for being on, man.
that's 78. Is that the official number? I've never checked. I know I have close to 80 though. Like that's pretty crazy.
That's official, like a referee with a whistle. That's with Tourettes without regrets. That's the prelim for Scribble Jam. That's all, man.
Damn. Okay. I've been doing this then. That's a lot, dude.
Yeah, bro. So Cody, just like an entry question I want to ask is just like, what was it like for you growing up in Hollister, man?
Hollister is like the sticks, dude. There isn't shit to do out here. I grew up like literally. I'm like a 90s latchkey kid, so I was just raised by my like TV and my headphones, and I grew up, just watching my little brother making pizza rolls and stuff. And when you're left to your own devices and shit, like I was really just into like MTV and hip hop and shit. Like that's just, I guess, what I picked as a kid. So I always just grew up like loving like I don't know, like I just hella admiration for like the culture and all that shit. You know what I mean? Like I never, and then where I'm from, there's like nothing out here. There's no like culture, no. So as like a rapper, I started rapping and doing graffiti as a kid, but I always had to like venture out to go like meet like-minded people. You know what I'm saying? Like there's like a few like homies I have from my like hometown and shit, but there's literally like 3 people who are into what I'm into out here. You know what I'm saying? There's like not that big of a music scene, any music scene really at all. There's like fucking, cover bands that play at the bars and shit like that. That's like, well, that's the type of time we're on out here. You know what I'm saying? But it like literally where I'm from, it's split down the middle. It's like hicks and gangbangers. That's like it. Like, like that's like I'm in California in the cut. So you know what I'm saying? It's just like that's what's out here. But anyway, growing up, I don't even know how I got into battle rap. I think the internet, I found like rapmusic.com, like mcbattles.com, those old websites and shit. And just, like I grew up on like freestyle era shit. Like I'm probably one of the last people in like active that was like around for the freestyle era, like the last leg of it. You know what I mean? Like there's not many other dudes, I think, that came in during the era I was in or whatever that have like Scribble Jam like footage or stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But I found that stuff when I was younger, and I forgot, like I think the first thing I ever saw probably was like, I don't know, like Supernat and Juice or something like that. You know what I mean? Like on Kaza. I like downloaded on Kaza back in the day. And I was just like, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean? Like it was just this crazy, like combative thing with rapping, and I'm good at talking shit and making fun of people. So this was just like right up my alley, And after that, like I just kind of like went and found like forums and saw where everyone would battle at. And then I found like, Tourettes Without Regrets. But bro, I used to have to get a ride to a bus station, to a train, to get from where I'm at to Oakland to like maybe battle 3 times in one night, if I don't get eliminated type shit. And then like, so it was, yeah, I had to really fucking like go out of my way to do what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying?
That's so funny. Like I did a little, as every like battle fan does, I did a little stint when like battling was just everybody had backyard battle leagues and shit like that all over the countries. And I remember my mom would drop me off at this nightclub like 2 hours away in like this small city because I grew up in a small town. And she'd be like, "Sweetie, do you want me to like come with you?"
Yeah.
And I'd be like, "Nah, mom, you can't. And then I remember like that exact same battle, like somebody called my mom a lesbian like 5 times. And I showed her the battle afterwards. She's like, "How would have I conceived you if I was a lesbian? That is false." So
he's like, this guy is an idiot.
Yeah, I would have fucking dusted him. You should have let me in, Sam. But so like upon you being in a small town and being one of the only rappers probably at a young age, did you have to face that thing of being at the party and everybody's like, "Yo, Cody, spit a verse," or whenever there was somebody who was starting to rap, "Hey, Cody, listen to this guy."
Yeah, it would always be that shit. And I'm like a very like I was saying before the interview, I'm not a very like attention seeking person. I just like rapping and I'm good at it. Like that's just like something that happened to like happen to me, you know. But I've never been the dude who's like, all right, everybody shut the fuck up, here comes the bars, you know what I mean? Like even at parties, fools would just be like, yo, kick some shit. And I always tell people, I'm like, oh, I'm off the clock, you know, like y'all got some money, I'll rap for you. And like, you know what I'm saying? Like that type of shit. And people are like, you're an asshole, whatever. But I remember when I was younger, there was definitely like fools. Like when 8 Mile came out and I was like in 8th grade, there was like older dudes who knew I battled, and they just like would, I don't know, just gather the courage to come find the kid who knew how to battle, and I would just dust them usually because like I was already watching Scribble Jam and all this other shit, and there was like this influx of 8 Mile people for like 2 years where I was just like battling these idiots, you know what I mean, who were just thinking you could like a hip hop hippie, you know what I mean, like oh fucking. Like it was just it was like I don't know, I just remember there was like this weird influx of like battle rappers, but it actually ended up being kind of cool because I got to just sharpen my fucking blade on all these idiots from the sticks who had no idea what actual battling was. Not to say 8 Mile is like an okay depiction, you know, as far as movies go, it's great, you know, but like it's not how things happen, you know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot more, way more cutthroat nonsense that goes on in real battles and shit, you know what I'm saying? So like I remember just battling people and they'd come in with some like simple shit and I'd just be like talking about their whole outfit and like, oh yeah, remember when that kid made you drink piss in 8th grade? You fucking lose, you know what I mean? Like shit like that. And they're just like, oh, what the fuck? You know, just they in too deep at that point, you know.
But that shows the cutthroat that you are, right? Because that's what you like wanted with battling. That's what it was so funny when battling like transitioned from like, you know, Scribble Jam and WRCs to like the written leagues, and you have like a month or two preparation, and people will be like hitting up people from the hometown, or like even if somebody knew, like somebody who hated a person from their town who was battling, he'd like hit up like the battler and be like, yo, this guy did this, he's got herpes, like he fucked this girl.
His wife cheated on him. You should say that probably.
Yeah.
That's so caustic, dude. I always admired Caustic for shit like that because I'm not like, I don't like, if you've probably seen my battles, a lot of the time I just show up and rap like I do angles. When I do angles, they're like, it's damaging, but like I'm always like, and it's funny because the King of the Dot thing that I'm in right now, I'm angling more and taking it more serious and trying to damage people, but generally speaking, like I fucking kind of just show up and do mixtape bars and just people like it, you know. But like I've never really been like the type of person to fucking be like, hey, what's up with this guy? Do you know about this guy? So like when I see people like Caustic being like, hey, you cheated on your wife, you fucking idiot, like I'm like, god damn, where'd that come from? Oh, like from the depths, you know what I'm saying? Like this deepest, darkest shit just thrown into the sky. It's just like you have like that. I could see how people would hate on that shit, but you know, you got to respect the craftsmanship of just really digging something up and making some obscure fact someone's shitty life work in a battle. You know what I mean? Like that's just like fucking true poetry.
Well, it's funny you say that. So upon that, I'm from, like, I live in Ottawa. I've been in Ottawa for like 8 years. I went to school here and then stayed, but I'm from Muskoka. Muskoka is like 2 hours north of Toronto, and then 2 more hours north of us is North Bay. And we had this little battle league, and our best battler was this guy named Q Shinobi, who paid Caustic to fly out. Okay. Yeah. And so like we've been seeing Caustic end careers on our end of the spectrum. We thought this guy was so good. And then when he went and battled somebody, he was like, it's just like, you know, going from the small town to a real battler. He got, oh my God, man. He was dead, just like Jefferson Price. Rest in peace to both of them. But
claimed that fool's booth pretty bad. Like, yeah, he didn't come back after that, right?
No, neither. The career killer is what I call Caustic sometimes, you know?
Caustic has put an end to a lot of people. Yeah, I've always like admired. Like once again, shouts to Caustic. My admiration for his cutthroatness is endless. Really,
I think you've had a lot of wins. Like back in the day in grind time, what I loved and hated and like the early King of the Dot days was records, because sometimes I love the records because I'm like a stats guy. Like with the NBA, I'm all about like what year this player averaged this or whatever. But like you had some like losses that were controversial to be wins. And like one of the biggest ones I want to talk about, because you were so young at the beginning of the grind time era and you battled fuck up, my bad, guys. I had a few shots for this. You battled who was like the president of Don't Flop and like bringing like UK battle rap. And so like, what was your mentality kind of going into that? Because you already battled, like you were a veteran, but like I feel like that would have been a different thing because you probably feel like you have something on your shoulders, like as an American battling this guy who's like representing
that was the first international battle I ever did. So I was really like, okay, this is like the first time where it's like, I'm like you said, like I'm representing a whole ass country right now against this thing. But generally, I don't really think like that. Like to me, it was just like, oh, I'm battling fucking her, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he was good at it, but I remember I remember that day I wasn't even supposed to battle her. I was supposed to battle someone else at first. Like I had another person and I had wrote a little bit for them and then they gave me her. And I remember I was kind of salty I got her, not because it was her, but because they switched my opponent, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of just, at that point, I was just like, I'm gonna fucking kill this fool because they fucking switched the opponent on me and they gave my opponent to someone else type shit, you know what I mean? Like, so that battle personally, I was just like not really thinking about all that shit, even though I recognize the fact it was an international battle. I was just trying to kill her mainly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, looking back at that, like, you know, is one of like the greats and but it's just like some of the setups from back in the day that the British guys were bringing the early days, like now looking back are just so funny to me. It's just like watching anything. Like there was some setups he had against
one of the bars he has against me, it makes me laugh every fucking time, is that Ross talcum powder bar, like the bar about Ross, like Ross from Friends. And it's like, it's almost like he wrote that like Americans like Friends, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like that was like, I guarantee that was his thought process. He's like, all Americans watch Friends. They're going to know this bar. Like, and he did it and everyone's like, the fuck are you talking about, bro? Like,
so what he's referencing is like in what is like first or second round, he's building up to this bar. And the punchline is, I'll get you with talcum powder like Ross and Friends. And he delivers it as if like talking about the guy getting killed in Boys in the Hood or something like that. And he's just waiting for this reaction. It's just like, that's kind of weird.
Like, Ross and Friends. Like, yeah. Yeah,
like, he would have fended off with like a no soup for you bar or something. Would have been much better.
Yeah, I remember just like even at the time, like in that battle, I'm like, I don't know if you can see my face, but that's one of those ones where I turn around, I'm like, the fuck was like, why? Like, you know what I'm saying?
And so let's in battling aspect, let's fast forward just because I'm kind of all over the map. I don't like script anything out, but you like forwarding years and years when battle raps modernized and they're kind of bringing this essence back with the bunker, and the bunker setting was like one of the coolest eras in battle rap. I like to think of battle rap too as like Tony Hawk, because you have different places that are like, you know, the original places, like you have like the bunker, or like you go to like the Oakland, or you go to like where you guys threw all the Battle of the Bays back in the day, or like all the Scribble Jam places, like all that shit. So like you battled Jay Dose, and I think it was like his return after battling Math Hoppa, the infamous guy who got knocked out in like one of the biggest viral moments in battle rap history. And like I know like you don't really care who you're battling because you're just going in there to show off your skill and to out rap the other person. But did you have any kind of like thing like, oh, I'm gonna fucking clown this guy, or like what was your mentality going into that battle? Because like you killed that battle, and that was such a great setting because battle rap had been modern and tried to do stages, and then going back to the pit is just like it was where the essence is, and that's where I find like thrive.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say pit battles, any close room, anything against me, you're not gonna do good. Like I'm loud, I have cadence, I have flow, I have punches. And one of the things that usually in big rooms is like, I don't repeat myself and shit generally. I'm not one of those dudes who's going to run it back. So I just keep attacking, you know what I mean? So I think a lot of like, some of my shit falls to the wayside a lot of the time just because of my style. And like, but dude, the Dose battle, the reason I did, in my opinion, so well in that is because I'm a huge Jay Dose fan, actually. I grew up watching like Street Status DVDs and like all that whole Philly scene is like one of, if not like my biggest influence as a battle rapper. Like I grew up on the scribble shit and all that, you know, but like my favorite era of rap in general is like that era where the dude's just standing in front of a Suburban, like playing beats and just letting bars off, like 40 bars off, you know what I'm saying? With like their whole crew behind them, like doing the ad libs and the fucking doubles with them. And like, I love that shit. To me, that's like the epitome of good rapping is like all of that, you know? And I saw Dose doing that growing up, you know, like fucking, so going into it, I was just like, man, this is like a dude that was like that. Him and the Tourettes, I think, were the two battles where I was just like, this is a dude that like low-key shaped me as a battle rapper, and now I'm battling him type thing, you know what I mean? But with Dose though, like I was just in my bag in that battle too. Like I had a lot of shit that wasn't even really directed at him, that I just was just in, it was just in the right time, you know what I mean? Like I've let off some classic shit against, you know, some dipshit in the middle of nowhere before too. It's just that one was just right place, right time, you know what I mean?
No, for sure. And actually, I have a funny analogy that I was thinking of earlier because I was looking up all your battles. So Reverse is like an OG in the game, and he's battled all these legends. But you could easily like look at his list of battles and see Reverse versus Thesaurus, Reverse versus Jados, and then you can see like ColoradoRap.com, Reverse versus Poetic Justice, and it's just like
Yeah,
it means he'll battle anybody,
yeah, no,
anywhere.
yeah. I was on a fucking like tear at one point because like I was just like, I just write all the time. I always have like verses all the fucking time. Like even if they're just, like I said, mixtape verses, just the way that I write raps and the way that I deliver them, I could generally be put in front of somebody and do a little damage just off style and shit like that. Like, but there was a point where I just had books of shit, and like so I was just like, motherfuckers want to fly me out to Colorado for free? Fuck it. Like I'll go battle fucking, you know, Captain Morgan or whoever the fuck you got, you know, like fucking like Eddie Spaghetti and whoever the fuck else they throw at me. Like if you're gonna fly me out and give me weed and show me all your best restaurants, like I'll do it. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't really care. Not as much anymore. I'm more like I do a lot more music now, so I try not to battle as much and shit. So like, but back then when I was just out trying to bust heads and go places for free, I didn't care who I battled. You know what I mean?
Well, and that's like a bucket list thing. You know what I mean? Like you got like, it's like living out a dream. I get flown out. I get paid. You know, I get a hotel. Like that's the dream, right?
Yeah,
But
there was 2 years where like people were just wanted to fly me out like all the time. So like I didn't even have a job for that 2 or 3 years. I was just fucking battling and like flying around. You know, like that's just, I don't know. That was fun as fuck too.
isn't that the funnest thing in the world, man? So I want to speak about another thing on why I'm such a big fan of you, is like also kind of what I guess you could say might have made me do this today is the DirtBagDan show. You guys were like so innovative in your podcast, and like I kind of call it like the Howard Stern of battle rap, because you had all your characters and personalities, and then you had like your whack pack of the weird guys who would like do their video calls and shit, and just like, you know, it was just like so great with all the segments you guys had. If people are a fan of the DirtBagDan show, Cody let me down tonight. I had not a 40, but I had a beer and a pop, and we were gonna drink it together, but it's okay. But anyway, like,
sorry, sir.
It's okay. What's like your perspective looking back at that? Because I feel like that's such a cool thing for you to have been a part of for such a long period of time, you know?
Oh, dude, that was like, I always say, I genuinely miss doing that show. I had a guaranteed once a week hang out with all my friends and laugh for 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just what we did. We never really had a script or anything. It was just all of us. It's like, okay, turn the camera on and we'll just hang out. You know what I mean? Like, and like, that's what it was and shit. And like, especially, I mean, I remember, even before I was on the show, a lot of people don't even know, I would just be in the studio. I was in the background a lot. Like I'd just be drinking on the couch, bullshitting, because we go out to like Johnny V's or bars after the podcast, you know? So like before, I think I just got on the show one day because I was always there and someone didn't show up. And then I went on and everyone liked me. So I just, you know, like I also, I think up to this point, no one knew I was actually funny, because they just knew me from battling and yelling at people, and I just seem aggro probably, but like that was like the first like human time anyone's like, oh, Reverse is actually like just a goofy ass dude, you know what I mean? Like, because I'm not mean or loud or anything. If you hang out with me, I'm just like high and joking around like all the time, you know what I mean? Like I will beat an ass though.
Yeah, but like that's one of my favorite parts of the show is like there's so many segments or so many little like inner things as a fan. Was Dan would try to like switch a topic and be serious about something, and like you and Fredo and Caustic would all like start talking over him and giggling and shit and have side conversations when he was trying to keep it serious. And that was one of my favorite things.
I always told Dan that me and Caustic are like the two sons he never wanted, bro. Like Dan doesn't want kids, but he got two fucking horrible teenagers for his fucking podcast. Like, you know what I'm saying? We just like me and Caustic would purposely derail that shit all the time too. You know what I mean? Like we would like wait for Dan to start like having his little like meltdowns, trying to get it back on track. And then like we like, you know, kind of look at each other and just keep fucking pressing the issue and just fucking it up a little bit. But like you said, dude, the fans love that shit. And Dan played into it too. You know, he played like the angry dad fucking role, and like he made it ride really well and stuff. But dude, but being part of that show was like, I love that shit. That was like, especially in its like heyday when we had a lot of followers and like watchers, even like when we were in the garage and not as many people watched it, but we had like, you know, like the bar pong, and then like we'd make up songs like on the fly, like and shit. Like it was just really like, I don't know, it was just really cool to like just create something like that with your friends. You know what I mean? It was just really dope.
In a fan theory thing for me is like you guys had All Day Dirt and you did the one song Ghost Blicky. And for me, that sound almost sparked Death Dealers Anonymous. Like, I don't want to like claim anything, but like, that's like when I feel like you guys kind of started like maybe getting into that or something in a sense.
Oh, no, okay. You're like not even far off at all. So actually, trip out on this. Oh, so Death Dealers Anonymous originally was either going to be me and All Day Dirt, me, All Day Dirt, and Dirtbag, but Jordan, All Day Dirt, he doesn't really like rap that much. Like he'll tell you that. Like he has like verses. He's dope. He's good for a feature because he's fucking amazing at rapping. He's like an awesome rapper, you know. But he just doesn't like. He just doesn't sit there and write like that. You know what I mean? He's like an artist. Like you know what I mean? You see his art and he makes a ton of fucking money off his art and stuff. He's doing fine, you know? So like I had the idea of Death Dealers for a while where I always wanted to do something where I didn't want to like show my face, and I wanted to make this otherworldly, like immersive brand where we were like, because the whole thing behind Death Dealers is we're like interdimensional hitmen who have different names for each job. So technically each song and EP is a new hit, and we change our aliases every time. You know what I mean? That's why if you look at our the volumes that we make, you know, with the 4 songs, we drop the 4 songs together, our names always change throughout. You know, it's still me and Dirt, but like within the songs, it's not like we're these weird fucking, you know, bloodthirsty fucking hitmen from another galaxy type shit. Like, even though it doesn't translate like that, it's just gangster rap. But like, anyway, that song of Ghost Blicky was like the first song where I heard Dan rap like that, kind of, you know what I'm saying? So that kind of solidified like, okay, I'm going to just like, me and Dan can do this shit. And like Jordan wanted to do the art thing. And so me and Dan just kind of ran with it. But Ghost Blicky was the first song I've always made music like that, like trappy, like Memphis type shit, or like weird grimy stuff. Like that's like my like forte, you know? And Dan, I never really heard get down on shit like that, but he killed Ghost Blicky. So after that song, it was kind of just like set into motion, like, okay, we're going to make this shit. And even moreover, Dan is just going to be in Death. We're the Death Dealers now. You know what I mean? And honestly, like that was like, in terms of being with the person in Death Dealers, Dan is like a very, cause I'm a fucking creative person, right? Like I am a thinker. No ideas, but I'm fucking lazy. And I'll just throw shit in the air and everyone in the room will be like, oh, that's a good idea. It's crazy. It's a good idea. And then like, it'll never get done because I'll just go home and, you know, watch fucking anime or something. You know, it's like, that's just how I am. And it's not good, but I know myself, you know. But Dan is like a fucking, like he makes shit happen, you know. So if I run my ideas by Dan will be like, okay, well, we could do this, this, and this. I'll go get this. We'll make it, you know what I mean? Like he fucking sets it into motion. And then before I know it, we're doing it. So like Dan is really like, he's like the motivating force behind a lot of like my ideas that come to light. Like a lot of shit you see in the videos and stuff were just things that I was like throwing around that I didn't even think we could do. And then Dan, you know, I pull up to his house and Like the thing with the fucking we have a video for is it Kumite? I think it's Kumite on the fucking one of the Death Dealers albums. And I was like, yeah, it'd be kind of cool to make it look like, because like I always trying to fuck with the green screen shit. And I was like, yeah, I want to do a thing where the car, where it looks like we're driving through like some crazy shit. And then I show up to his house and this full like green screened out half the car already. And I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like I would have never thought of that shit. And he was like, he's just on top of it and stuff, you know? Or maybe I would have thought of it, but I wouldn't have done it. You know what I mean? Like it just, Dan just makes it happen. So like it works really well between me and him.
Oh, bro, I got this podcast and like I got all you amazing guests and shit, but like I'm so fucking terrible with promoting it, bro. I just need like a homie who's like really good.
My Achilles heel is promotion, always has been. I always tell people the worst thing I am at rap is talking about myself, because like I'm not that dude, bro. I'm not the, hey, check my new mixtape or check my new shit out. Like, it's like, if you hear it, I guess. I don't fucking, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And like, people are always like, I don't know if they think I'm trying to be like cool guy like that, but I'm just lazy, bro. Like, the fact of the matter is, I'm just a lazy ass person.
That's all
like,
it is.
You know, like talented, but lazy.
I admit to that. Like, my boy's always he's like, dude, do more hashtags, write a blog about it. I'm just like, bro, I'm good. I can talk.
Yeah, if you throw me in the scenario where I'm doing the thing that I do, I'll shine. But like afterwards, like if you're like, all right, well, you know, tell us about, I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like that's like that, like Talladega Nights, you know, I don't know what to do with my hands and shit. Like I don't know.
That's just the art. That's just being an artist. But I want to actually like I spoke to Dan about this is when you're talking about the not being on camera with the animation. I almost reference you guys as like the Death Dealers Anonymous is like the hip hop rap group of like like the Gorillas, because like the Gorillas, it's all animated and all like characters and shit like that.
That's generally the idea that I got when I was coming together, was like kind of like a combination of the Gorillas and like the shit that like MF Doom did with like the Monster Island shit, you know, where like he had all these people and he gave them monster aliases where like they were them, but they weren't them, you know, like it's like they're characters, and like they create like an like I said, like an otherworldly immersive brand where it's like not just the rap, it's like a whole, you look into it and you're like, oh, they have this thing in their face, and oh, like with our shit, you know, it's like there's a lot going on. It's like we like our faces aren't there, it's like the green screen shit, it's fucking like it looks like we're not in the world, and that's the whole point. It's like we're sliding dimensions and clapping shit up, you know what I mean? But the Gorillas was like the reason I thought of that. And then it's funny because one of the main driving forces behind that and the Gorillas was me being like, man, the Gorillas could be like 80 years old and still knocking out bangers because you don't know what the fuck they look like, you know? And that's kind of where I'm at with the fucking Death Dealers thing. We could just keep making it because I don't, you know, you don't see us, you know what I'm saying? Like, and at one point, if we get too old to be doing the mass shit, like I could just find like a cartoonist or something, and then maybe we could take it to the step of actually being like on the Gorillas like level, or like claymation or something maybe that hasn't been done yet. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
So what he's basically trying to say is they're trying to be the next Violent J and Shaggy 2 Dope. Shout out to Insane Clown Posse, the best rap group ever. I'm just kidding. But
yeah. Bro.
I want to bring up a weird story for you. On the show on the DVD show, you got Jordan All Day Dirt used to bring in his friend called Q. And this guy had a story about bringing like a half-eaten burger into a movie theater with the girl that he met. And I just want like you to relive that for me.
You talking about Q and his fucking dude? Okay, well, I could tell you a million stories about Q, bro. Q is just like this walking like ball of entertainment, dude. Like this fool's always on 12. You know what I'm saying? I think the day that he went to like the half-eaten burger with the girl at the theater, I think he was drinking Hennessy in his slushie at the mall and just being wild as fuck at the mall. And then like, and you know what? The other thing too that I think Jordan was telling me that the hamburger that was half eaten was in a plastic Ziploc bag. So he pulled that shit out of his pocket in a bag, and it was a burger in a bag, and he just like pulled the bag burger out. I bet he still banged that chick too.
The funniest was the breakdown on the episode when you guys zoomed into the pictures, like, oh, that looks like some caramelized onion. There's some mushroom in there. And then, like, after being grossed out, everybody kind of agreed it looked like a good burger, actually.
I love Q, bro. Q. I have like really funny stories about Q, but I don't know if I'm like legally at liberty to tell them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh, the ones
he's
that
a wild boy.
I remember All Day Dirt had one where they were he pulled up to see him because he texted him. He's like, yo, I just got to come up. I just came up. And then he was hanging out in this like broken down car with no wheels in the hood. And he was just rolling up a blunt. And he's like, come on in.
This fool one time, Jordan was telling me this fool's just hella heated. And then I guess he went to his homie's house and was just like, went to drink some Gatorade, but the dude like pissed in the bottle or something like that. And then he calls Jordan hella mad. He's like, I just drank piss on accident, hella mad. And he's like, damn. And he's like, that's the second time this happened to me over here. Like the same dude's house. And then Jordan's just like, you gotta stop drinking Gatorade at fucking homie's house then. It's like, but that's the second time. Like it's just like an epidemic at this fool's house.
That's fucking
shouts to Q. I fucking love Q. That's like one of my favorite beings I've ever met.
Oh, that's what like it was like, man, like days like I watched you guys heavy when I was in college and I'd be like studying. And so like when I'm like all my other friends are out fucking partying hard and I'm trying to actually focus for like one night, I just listen to the show and it's like you're part of the group. And that's like,
yeah, dude, you know what I got from a lot of people was like that was like, they would always say that like, you know, like fucking, like see even people who didn't really have friends and shit, you know what I'm saying? They would like message me all the time and be like you guys, like your show makes me feel like I'm like hanging out with my friends and shit. Cause like I said, we literally just hung out. Like we just turn a camera on and just bullshit and like and then Dan would just be like, okay, hour and a half, let's go home. Like, you know, like there was no real like schedule to anything. So like I like that it always created that vibe because I know it could be kind of like it was chaotic at points, but like, you know, like if like any friend group at certain points it goes off the rails a little bit. But like if you were there and you knew who we were and you tuned in enough, you were like part of the, you know, you were like part of the crew and shit. And we always, like you said too, you send in video questions, we just make you part of the crew if you send in enough, you know what I mean? Like,
or what I said this to Caustic is one of the things, because I was such a big fan, but I never sent in video questions because you guys would roast about 75% of the people. But that's part of what I love it. Like, yeah, a guy would send in a video. He's like, fuck you. Remember the kid?
Like I'd bring homies on something. Huh?
Do you remember the kid that DirtBagDan, the walrus kid, that in the drive-through, the young kid with the high-pitched voice that Dan said he might or might not sexually assault?
Oh, did he say he was gonna like face rape him or something like that? Like
with rest in peace, PH, the most New York guy in the world.
Yeah, and he was like, "Yo, pause!" Like he was just not having that shit, bro. Yeah, I remember, dude. Yeah, I remember that. That was like like Dan actually talks about that shit a lot, like just being like, I think like as regarding as like one of the only times he ever thought he took it too far was when he said that, and PH was just like, yo, like, and then he's like, Dan will even tell you, he's like, I actually felt kind of like I might have gone too far that day. Like, you know what I mean? Like, well, yeah, you know, about mouth raping kids, that's not okay. He's like
and like this is like, to me, this is like a big insider fan thing, but like as I said, I love the segments on the show. Before we go on to the next subjects, like what brought up you reviewing the random 40 of malt liquor, beer, and a juice and a soda? Like what made that come to fruition?
What I drink, my like thing that I drink are Brass Monkeys, which are 40 OE with orange juice. And that's just like before the show, before anything, like that's just what I drank. Like on the street at a party, if you saw me, I'd have a 40 OE with orange juice in it. And I remember Dan was like, what the fuck is that? And why are you always drinking it? You know? And I let them all try it. And they were like, this is actually like a ghetto ass mimosa. And it's really good. Like, that's what it is. It's just like a hood mimosa, you know? And so after that, I would like show up. And then I remember first it was just going to be orange juice with different kinds of 40s to see, you know, what the deal was going to be. And then I just decided like, well, I'm going to run out of beer, so I might as well start fucking around with other stuff, you know? And then it just got like, obviously towards the end, it just got like out of hand. And I started having just like these dark green fucking contraptions that tasted like I think I dumped like a Four Loko into a fucking Mickey's one time, and it just looked like Simple Green or some shit. And it was so disgusting. I came across some heaters though that I ended up keeping with me. Like I put like this like tropical Sunny D, I think in like a King Cobra. And that's fucking fantastic. You'll have a headache, but it's good.
So I remember you drinking those King Cobras, and I don't know if you ever watched the show Trailer Park Boys, but the King Cobras are equivalent to Alberta Premium, which is what Jim Leahy used to drink.
Yeah. Is that like on the same just like trash malt liquor that would just put you like because what's funny is people would always be like, oh, you drink.
No, go
ahead.
Well, sorry, before you go,
no,
they made the homeless people or they made the bottles plastic, just like you talked about the old Englishes, because the homeless people used to fight each other with them. Like that's how ghetto it was.
Yeah. Well, it couldn't be fucking weapons anymore. They couldn't be homeless weapons. Yeah, but like I didn't even buy them because they were cheap. Like
Oops, we got some technical difficulties going on. We're just reconnecting reverse to audio. His audio needs to reconnect. I can pause it for now and be right back. And we're back.
Woo! My bad. Well, I don't know if it's my bad or not.
Oh my god, what a good pause. We're back. Yeah, my bad. Whatever. But yeah, no. That's so you were saying about King Cobra, how like you didn't even buy it because it was cheap. Like you actually enjoyed it.
Yeah, like 40 ounces. The first thing I ever drank in my life was an OE. So I was like introduced to beer through shitty beer. And so to me, my palate was just always like, I know this shit. This is my body. Like I don't like Coors or fucking like even like IPAs. Like I fucking hate IPAs because I still stand firm that all beer tastes like shit. It's just like which one tastes like the least shit to get you drunk or you know, to do whatever it needs to do. But like, I always thought like OE tasted like waffles or some shit. It just never tasted bad to me. Like, I don't know. Like, that's just what I drink is 40 ounces.
Hey man, that's gangster. I the first time I like drank in high school, I drank two OEs. And I got kicked out of the tent at the party because like a party in the middle of nowhere, and I fucking pissed myself all outside of the fucking party. And like there was a girl I was trying to get with that like never talked to me again. It's like I didn't have a great chance with the OE.
I remember one time I worked at a movie theater when I was like 19, and we had like a work party, and I brought steel. You know what steel reserves are? Steelies. Those are like the fucking bottomest of the barrel, but I got a box of them because my homie, I've been going to the same liquor store my whole fucking life, you know, and these fools have been selling me beer since I was like 15. So they would like sell me boxes and shit. And I remember I bought a box of Steel Reserve and 2 things of orange juice. And I took them to this movie theater party. And these people didn't drink. They never had. And I showed them all the Brass Monkey thing. And literally by the end of the party, everyone was like passed out or puking. And it was just like me standing like, you know, the one-eyed man in the land of the blind, bro. I was just like, fuck y'all, what's up? Like, you guys, my body's trained for this. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, yeah, I know how quickly the fucking the malt liquor fucking the vortex goes downhill. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I remember you guys talking about one of them like had a special edition with Billy D. Williams, and you could call Billy D. Williams on from the bottle.
It was Colt 45. He was on the commercials and shit. Like Billy D. Williams was just like was hawking those bad boys. I remember it was like works every time. That was like the fucking catchphrase for it. Like like if you bust this out on the bitches, it's on. But realistically, if you bust that out around bitches, you're probably like smoking meth and fighting in like a hotel or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fighting for the last hit. But there's there's a rap line. I don't know if it's like Jedi mind tricks or something, but he said, "Put a Colt 45 to your face like Billy D. Williams." Fuck, I can't remember who it is, but yeah, I remember that from a young age too. But
yes, that's what he's talking about. He was on the commercials and shit.
So like right now, you're in the tournament for season 1 for $100,000 for King of the Dot. You did your first battle. You scored one of the best scores. You battled Cali Smooth, who's known for only listening to Illmatic by Nas and no other album in the world.
By Nas, yeah. I had several lines, dude. You know what's funny is the face-offs that they did. They made them more like friendly this time, so they weren't as combative as last time. But if they were, I was just every fucking time he would like try to do anything, I was just gonna deflect to. So do you really only listen to Nas? Like I was just gonna keep asking, like, could you clarify about Nas? You know, it's like.
That's so funny, and your guys' scores on the cards are you're one of the best scores. So like, what's your mentality? Because it's the first time where like you're going for it rather than just doing like to prove your skills, right? You want to win, right? So like, what's your mentality going into the second round and surveying around all the other like divisions, the north and the south and the east and everything?
I've been, it's crazy. Me and my little brother, like, fair enough. My brother Cooper, we've been every weekend. He comes over my pad, and we watch the battles, and we kind of like think of angles and shit that would work on each person and like stuff like that. So I'm literally watching these things like game tapes and taking notes. And this is like the most serious I've ever taken, like winning battles and like operating in a way where I'm actively like setting up things to defeat someone as opposed to just showing up and flexing that I could rap better than them. You know what I mean? Like there's still going to be that rap shit. I'm never going to like not have that, but I'm going to have that. Plus I'm like, I think people have seen like in Bobby Lee, like me versus Bobby Lee or me versus Cali Smooth or like other people. And I think the approach to damage you as a person, like I will fucking beat you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that straight up. If I try in a battle, there's very few people who could beat me. And not only because I'm saying like, oh, I'm like the best battle rapper. It's just, I know. I don't know.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, no, I'm on my data now instead. Maybe that'll help. I don't know. It just keeps cutting out.
It's all good, man. So yeah, keep going on to what you're talking about with like your mentality going in. I love it.
Oh, it's just basically just about like, yeah, like I was saying, like generally speaking, I think like as far as angles and stuff, I think one thing that I do better than a lot of people is I know how to battle rappers as the people that they are. Like, I'm not going to talk about your battles and shit. Like, I'll just be like, listen, bro, I've met you in real life and this is who I met. And I think you're a fucking clown. And like, and I think when people see me do that shit, the type of things that I usually address, and if you know my character, like people like are very like, they get on board or they're convinced usually. Because generally speaking, like I could make a lot of people just look stupid because like I don't take battle rap serious like that. You know what I mean? So like a lot of this shit, I'm like, oh yeah, you fucking, I saw your blog, you fucking loser. Like, you know what I mean? Like just stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like just like, oh, you said this, but no.
Well, no, it's true because it's so with like all like the big battle rappers, like quote unquote, like they all have such egos and they're like what like to me like was the demise of like everybody conglomerating in battle rap as people being divas and like, oh
Yeah,
no judges on this and everything, you know. It's just like that's when it like ruined. It's like I want to get paid 75,000, but I don't want my battle to be judged.
Yeah, I always tell people one of the biggest things I miss is like the camaraderie between everybody. Because I remember when fools used to come out for like Battle of the Bay, it would be like Florida, New York, Midwest, but we would all go out to eat after. We'd all throw a party or a barbecue. Everyone was friends. We'd all smoke together. It was all just like clicked up, you know, because it was like at that time, battle rap wasn't like this big thing, you know, like, so it was like, oh, motherfuckers flew us out here. There's cameras. This is cool, you know. Like we're not used to this shit. Like it was just cool, you know. And like we were all experiences in it together, and we were all, you know, like, dude. I remember when like Rum Nitty was new, and me and Rum Nitty just smoking outside and bullshitting and stuff. And like Rum Nitty's actually still really humble and cool. I'm just saying, like, I remember being around like all these like big names and big people when we were generally pretty unknown, you know. Just because battle rap wasn't on a big platform like that, you know? But I think that big platform has like separated us in a lot of ways, like especially contractually and stuff, how there's like a lot of contracts that prohibit things now and stuff. And like anything, dude, money in business will fuck up anything fun, you know? It goes from being fun to being like a job. And it's not what it was, dude. It's like still cool because of where we're at and like how far it's come. But in terms of like just going and like rapping with your friends and stuff, it's just not, you know, it's not the same anymore.
Yeah, no, I get you 100%. And that's kind of what like, so like I'd say I probably like I still follow everything and watch stuff, but I'm not like as like crazy as I was into it when I was a teenager. Like probably around like 2015 when like the bunker stopped, and then like, you know, like I watched Town Business too and all that stuff, but like growing up too, you don't have all the time you had as a kid to watch every single battle and everything like that. But like that's kind of what I miss was like when like Battle of the Bays, you'd have all the guys conglomerate, or like Grizzlemania, the first Grizzlemania, I was just watching it. You versus Rugged, and Rugged literally what I found respect actually watching those old events. The East Coast guys, the Orlando guys, were always behind each other, even if they weren't in the same clique. When it was like a coastal thing, they were always supporting one another, and I always found that very fucking cool. You know?
Yeah, it was that's what I mean. Like just in general, like camaraderie. And even after that, you know, like the Florida dudes, if he's battling in Cali, dude, everyone would be behind the other thing. But once the battle ends, you know, right back to like hanging out. Like that's all it is, you know, like everything was just really chill and cool back then. And like I said, I think it's because it was just new and everyone was just excited to be a part of it, as opposed to like thinking they deserved 50,000 for a battle, you know, like it's just, they were just happy cameras were there and everyone, it was just like me and my friends, people were paying attention to us and it was cool. That was it. And that's all I ever needed. You know what I mean? Like I'm probably one of the last, and it just might sound like super fucking like nerdy or whatever, but I'm like probably one of the last like purists in this shit that just literally does it because it's fun. Like I do this for fun, you know, like I have a job, I have a house and fucking kids and a lady and a dog. And like, I don't need to battle rap. Like I want to, it's like fun. It's like something I've done since I grew up in the culture, you know, like, so I don't know, like I said, like, so that like a lot of the stuff that took away the fun for me is like, even like when I took a break from battling for like a year and I was in like a punk band and stuff, because at that time being in a punk band was fun as fuck and battling wasn't, you know what I mean? Like, because fools sucked the fun out of it. And then like, they brought back, you know, I think the bunker and like a lot of the bots events went back to that more old school feel of just being at a battle and everyone having a good time, as opposed to it being a fucking, you know, like we're acting like we're at the red carpet and fucking, you know, like, oh, everybody pray. Like fools would go into a room and it's like, everybody talk about me and praise me because I do punchlines. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's fucking stupid, but fucking.
The worst was when I moved to college after living in small towns, and I was in Ottawa, and I met a couple battlers. I won't say the names, but like all they did was suck their own dicks when you talked about them. And I was just like, bro, like this makes me not a fan. I was such a fan, and now I don't even want to, you know.
I fucking rappers. You'll meet a million people that they'll tell you, I like me. I do not like battle rappers, bro. That's why I am not friends with most of them. And it's not because I think I'm better than anybody. It's because they're fucking weird. Like, and you can't be normal, or like, you can't just be like, hey, what's popping, dude? Like, how you doing today? You know? And it's like, oh, I got this new shit dropping. I got this feature. And I'm like, okay, dude, cool. I was gonna ask you about what you were eating, but whatever, you know, like
I have a super funny when we're done recording. Ask me for me to tell you. I have a super delved in funny thing that will kill you. But I have two things. Your first off, actually, it'll connect it. Your brother, man. Like I always have seen your brother in the background of all the battles from the West Coast history, even when it was like the basement and that weirdo Christian 818 was running grind time before the crossover to King of the Dot and like and all the bots things. Your brother, like, what's your brother's take on it? Because he's been through it all, but like he's not a battler, but I can tell like he knows it all. You know what I mean? He doesn't react too. He's just like, if he'll respect the lines, like,
yeah, no, like he's like, dude, he's been watching battles for as long as I have. And the first battle he ever went to was Battle of the Bay 3 or 4. And he's gone to almost every Cali event since then. So this dude has seen, you know, damn near as many battles as I have, like, you know what I mean? And he watches more than me, you know what I'm saying? So his comprehension of battle rap is fucking insane. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so when you see him doing that shit, it's not that he's like not impressed. It's just like, he probably knows what you're going to say before you're going to say it. Cause he not only, my brother too, he's this fool graduated with the 4.7. He graduated from UCLA as a math major. He's in the top 10 percentile of Mensa. Like he's fucking stupid smart. Like, and he just loves battle rap, bro. Like that's just something that does it for him. And he's a very, like, if you ever met someone who met him, he's like a very peculiar dude, but he's really funny. Like he's goofy and shit, but he's very like smart, dude. And like almost, you know, like those people who are like almost too smart for their own good sometimes, where it like makes them like socially awkward just because they don't know how to be around stupid people sometimes. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's like on that type of shit. But as a battle fan, you'll meet very few people whose comprehension of like the sport is more vast than his. Like he knows back hella far. He knows all the new people. He knows like all the styles. He knows how everything works. You know what I mean? Like he's actually, dude, that he's actually really like, he could probably battle if he wanted to, but he's just like, I don't know. He's never tried it. He's definitely like just been like, oh, I thought of this line today, and then he'll say some shit and it'll be hot as fuck. And I'm like, oh, that's gas, bro. Like I was trying to get him a bots battle. Actually,
that would be fucking cool.
For bots. Yeah, because I know he'd do good. Him versus, just have to get over
him versus Keegan.
Yeah. I'm sure he'd love that.
He'd body him. I know that. And Keegan would probably not want to do it because he's a frail looking man. Shouts to him. But like, so the whole punk shit, I didn't bring it up yet. So my brother, my oldest brother, I'm the youngest of 4. He's been in punk bands since he was like 17. So like I've seen him, like he's traveled across America and back. Every summer he does a tour. He's signed to a label in Spain, but he's inspired by Japanese 80s hardcore punk. Like I find punk is so cool and unique in itself, whereas like it's kind of like it's so much like hip hop, whereas like they both came up at the same time and stuff. So like what was your like inspiration with like punk music, and who were you inspired by growing up and everything?
You know, classic like hardcore shit, like Bad Brains, you know what I'm saying? Like I love like Bad Brains is probably my favorite like punk band. I know, like, but I listen to a lot of shit like Gorilla Biscuits is like another one that I love Gorilla Biscuits. Like fuck, dude. As far as like old school punk shit too, I really like, you know, the Cramps, the Jerry's Kids, like classic punk rock shit. But I also like I like a lot of hardcore shit. I don't remember like early 2000s, like it was like post-hardcore where it was still kind of punk, but it was like metal, like bands like, you know, like the Number 12 Looks Like You, or fucking Heavy Lolo, or I don't know if you've ever heard of them and shit, but like they're more, I've always been where I'm from, like I said, there's not a lot of music, but there's bands from my town. There's like rappers, not really, but there's a few bands. And I remember a lot of the homies I had growing up, just as far as knowing people who did music, were like punk kids, you know what I mean? Like, so I just grew up around punk rockers and stuff. And like, I was always just the the hip hop head around punk rockers, or literally like all my friends are like punk rockers and like active gang members and shit. So, you know, I'm like, like I have a very like down the middle like group of friends. Like, it's like these guys do this, these guys do.
There was a show that HBO did that got canceled after a season, but I love the concept. It was called Vinyl, and it was about like the beginning of hip hop, and they spoke about like Curtis Blow, but then it was also like focusing on punk rock and shit. And like, it sucks that show never got kept on because I don't know what happened, but it was like a Scorsese directed thing or some shit. Like, it was really good.
I think it was like a show, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or was it a documentary?
It was a TV show, but like a, you know, depicting like real life.
I remember. And then it had like one season or some shit, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I didn't watch it. It looked dope.
It was pretty good because like you never hear people talking about Curtis Blow. There was literally a scene where this white guy who signs punk artists, he drives in the Bronx and he goes and he sees Curtis Blow plugging in to like the light thing outside of his house on the sidewalk. Yeah. Like, it was pretty cool as like a, you know, a hip hop nerd. You're like, oh shit, that's the definition of hip hop, right?
That's right. But yeah, dude, punk and hip hop have like a lot of parallels in general. Like, being a part of both of them growing up, like, it's like they're both like underdog, you know, like come from like an underdog background of music, and they weren't expected to last long, and you know what I'm saying? But like the same thing is like with the community though, like both have the similar like, oh, you do this, like you love this, okay, we're folks now, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could like appreciate someone else off of their passion for the art, you know what I mean? Like, and within usually hip hop, like deep hip hop heads or deep punk heads, they fucking care about like me, like the music, like that, like that's like fucking sacred to them, you know? And like, I really fuck with people like that, because like growing up, like that's like the only thing, like my first love and the thing that I've always like just had is just music, you know? Like, as corny as that is to say, but like when you meet other people who share that view with you on something you care about, like especially within hip hop and punk, there's like a really deep rooted like appreciation for it, you know what I mean? And preserving it as well, you know what I'm saying? And like, I'm totally like with that shit too, because, you know, after we're gone, we need fucking some hot shit for someone else to listen to, you know?
Well, bro, I grew up listening to like, thankful for my older brother, because it was on like my mom's computer and it was his playlist, but like things like, you know, Jedi Mind Tricks, Immortal Technique, Ill Bill Nonfiction, the Coca Nostra, but then also like MF Doom and like Talib Kweli and shit. But then like what was cool to me and what I love is like growing up as an adult, you learn that like there's so much more to learn every single day. So like I first got into Tribe Called Quest when I was like 18, and they're my favorite group to this day. Like, my cat's name is Fife Cat, and like it's just like that's what I love with the preservation of hip hop. He's the 5-pound assassin with the roughneck business. But anyway, with like hip hop and everything, like I hated XXX for so long because I was like, oh, he's a new wave, and I didn't really listen to him. But I recently watched his No Jumper interview, and he spoke about how he was like, well, no, I respect the old era and I respect bars. And he spit like a verse that was like just a bar for bar, like 16. And I was like, that's so cool, because then you see people like the Little Xan Kid or like Little Uzi Vert, like disrespecting like the old school shit. I'm just like, all these people conglomerating has made you able to do what you did today. Like, there would be no Little Xan or Little Uzi Vert in 2004. 50 Cent would have fucking slaughtered them, you know?
Yeah. like see, that's that's what I mean. Like, dudes who respect what it came from and can still do what they're doing, like there's no reason to disrespect something like that, you know what I mean? And especially, bro, like I'm probably in like the minority of a person who listens to, because I like love XXX and I listen to like Little Xan and shit like that. Like, I listen to everything hip hop, like in general. Like, Young Thug's one of my favorite rappers. You know what I'm saying?
Juice WRLD. Also, I love Juice WRLD, bro.
Yeah, see, I love shit like that. There's like a time and place for everything, really. You know, obviously there are people who suck. Then you can't get past. I'm not like gonna go on a like list of people I dislike, but like, you know, but like XXX. Even though like he had a lot of controversy like surrounding him as a person, as an artist, if you listen to him, he makes literally every kind of music, and it's all pretty fucking good too. Like, so I really liked him as an artist. But I come from, obviously, growing up, like same thing as you, like the backpack era with all the like when there was like an actual underground and a mainstream, you know, like when you could, would you, because now that doesn't exist anymore, you know what I mean? Like everything's underground because everyone's independent and shit. But back then, you know, there was like indie underground hip hop, and then there was signed artists, you know? So like I grew up with the, like, oh, you know, like fucking, this is what I listen to. I listen to Dilated Peoples, and I listen to nonfiction, and I listen to this shit. And like I'm hip hop, you know what I mean? But also on the flip side of that, like motherfuckers would be like, who's your favorite rapper? And I tell them Jay-Z, and they're like, well, what? He's not underground, you know what I mean? Like, so like I was always in like a conflict with somebody because it's just like my broad fucking like just appreciation for hip hop in general, you know what I mean?
The worst being a white guy who's into battle rap and likes rap is everybody's like, oh, so Eminem, am I right? And I'm like, no, I actually am not a fan of Eminem too much to say, you know? I don't want to, like, I've never really been a fan of M, and people have never understood. Like, all of my friends, especially people who aren't white, like, how come you don't like Eminem? I'm like, I don't, he's just rapping to rap. Like, that's all he's doing. Especially with like the whole these days with like Rap God and like his diss with MGK and all this shit. I'm like, bro, you're 50 fucking years old. Like, I don't want to hear you just rap to rap anymore. Tangent. I respect what he's done, but if he wasn't white, he wouldn't be who he is. And I don't care what people like. If there wasn't Eminem, you'd have no Hobsons. Well, you know what? I'm not the biggest fan of Hobson. No, I respect Eminem. I love Eminem, but we don't need Hobson. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like yeah, Tech Nine's cool, but like I can only listen to 151 so many times. You know what I mean?
You literally named like my 3 least favorite rappers right now. Like that type of rap, I do not like. Okay, I know Tech Nine is technically like amazing at rapping, but when you do the motherfucker, but like once you do that on a song, I'm fucking changing your song. I don't want to hear the hibbity dibbity. I call it the flippity ditchity Statue of Liberty. That's what I like. I've called it that since I don't know how long. But if you do that on a song like that, with Eminem or like Logic, dudes like that, I'm gonna change the song. And I'm sure it's technically sound. I guess like it's whatever, but like it's not interesting to me. You know what I mean? And like, and a lot of the times when they do that shit, they aren't saying anything. Like it's just like, you know what I mean? Like
case in
like
point,
Eminem,
Save the Last Dance. That girl in Save the Last Dance had a technically sound ballerina routine. Channing Tatum came in and put some urban into the routine, and he just made that shit a movie, bro.
Yeah.
But fuck Tom McDonald too before you go off on your rant. Sorry.
That's what I mean. Shit, like that's like to me when I think of like that kind of rap, it's like that's the bracket we're working with, and I'm like, we don't need that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it's always like it's literally like a dude with an AC/DC tattoo on his arm that's just like, "You're the fucking best rapper I've ever heard, bro. You're crazy." And it's just like, yeah, it was really cool when Eminem was talking about shoving things up Amy Lee Curtis's ass. Like, I'm sure, dude. I guess that was fire. Like,
bars.
Who cares?
Like, I killed my wife and I showed my daughter her dead body. Bars.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. You know what I mean? Fuck out of here. Like, no, awfully coffee pot.
And like one of my favorite I love Dirt's music. I love DirtBagDan, all this shit. But one of my favorite moments of the show is they're talking about something to do with rap, and somebody was talking about Dan, and Disaster was on the show, and he was like, "Shut up, Dan. Rubba dubba dubba dubba. Concentrate."
Fucking Jesus Christ.
But no, that's the thing, bro. Like, I don't want to hear Eminem like rap to rap. It's just not for me, you know. Like, I hate all like. It's not.
Where is it going? You know, like, I don't need that at all. It's like I could do without that.
So speaking of which, let's just go on like a nice little note. Like, I don't want you to be stressed or anything, but like, give me like your right now in your head 3 albums you would take to a desert island with you.
3?
Like feel a mood, nostalgia. Like, you know, you want to be sad, you want to be happy, you want to be sexy.
1, because it's my absolute favorite album of all time, is Cannibal Ox, The Cold Vein. I don't know if you're familiar with that album. The LP, Cannibal Ox. That is my all-time favorite album. Oh, sorry.
You're good.
My phone was tell me I had a low battery. I'm sorry. No, but fucking But yeah, Cold Vein, like to me, when I first heard that album, that like changed my whole like perspective on shit. I remember walking to school with that playing in my headphones and it was like raining, like starting to rain. And just the mood of that album is just like a dystopian, like metropolis. And I remember just walking in like to like in this cloudy, rainy shit to school. And it's just like Iron Galaxies comes on first. And I was just like, ooh, like, you know what I mean? Like, I was just like, this is the one right here. And like, there's not a bad song on that album either. It's just front to back, just like there's everything's good. The concept songs, the posse cuts, everything is perfect on that album. To me, anyway, I love that album. And it's just me, like that album just I could never not have it. You know what I'm saying? And then I think another one is I don't know if you know the band Against Me, but reinventing Axl Rose. That's like another one of my favorite albums. They're like a folk punk band, but they're very I don't know, they're very fucking dope. That's like one of my favorite fucking like albums ever. And then I think probably Death Grips, The Money Store. I don't know if you listen to Death Grips at all, but it's just chaotic, abrasive shit. So I think those three. I think I need one soft one in there. I'd probably
Oh
bring
no,
like
throw in one or two. Throw in one or two. It's good. It's good.
I'd probably throw in a Janet Jackson album. I love Janet Jackson. Probably a greatest hits. Actually, there's a greatest hits Janet album that has all my bangers. I'll bring that one. And then last but not least, Camp Low, Uptown Saturday Night. I fucking that's the album right there. That's my favorite, probably other than Cold Vein. My favorite hip hop album is Camp Low, Uptown Saturday Night.
And as a good person, and like if I'm sending you off, Jesus Christ. Sorry, my friends are just calling me fucking weirdos. To send you they want to play ball. It's too late in Canada. I'm gonna do my nerd one and give you a pass. Street Smarts, Don't Trust Anyone. We'll let you just have that on repeat as well.
Oh, dude, do you know that song?
I'm just being a fucking clout chaser off of your Facebook.
No. But I was gonna say, because that song, like, if you've never heard that song,
I'm gonna listen to it after.
Street Smarts on that song is so ahead of his time with the way that he's rapping. Like,
it seems like
listen to it, it's like
is it like, you know,
it's like mid-90s, and he's like,
you know, like Tribe by 12 and Carried by 6, like Tribe by 12 and Carried by 6. Like, I feel like that's one that's just like a random amazing one-off. You know what I mean? That like I never heard before. But then once I got into the group, I was like, damn.
Yeah, like Tribe by 12's fire as fuck. Yeah, the East Flatbush Project or whatever, right? Isn't that who does that song? Yeah, fucking see that I was gonna say one of the things that about me that I fucking like pride myself on is like my random 90s like B-side groups that I like, because there was like a chunk of time where I was just like Punk Barbarians or like, you know what I'm saying, like weird shit like that, or like, but Street Smarts was one of those dudes that I found because I collect vinyl too, and I just found him. There's a song called Metal Things that was on a DJ Premier record, and I remember I heard that guy rap on it, and through that I found Don't Trust Anyone. Like, and I think I heard Don't Trust Anyone when I was like probably like 19 or something like that. And that song came out in 97, which means it was probably recorded in like, 96 or something like that. And the way that fool is rapping on that song, he's like pattern stacking in like these coherent sentences that just have multi-syllables throughout the whole like on some nerd shit. It's fucking remarkable. You know what I'm saying? Like the to get my name respected is the main objective. Like he just shit like that, like just clean rhymes. But like he goes off that scheme for like 4 more bars that all just have like that continuous like it's just really impressive. And I remember when I was younger, I was like, I need to rap like that. What the fuck am I doing? You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't even learn about multis through rapping. Like I learned about them through that guy. And then when I started battling and like they were being called multis, I was like, oh, that's like this. That's like Cool G rap. You know what I mean?
Of course, yeah. Oh. Okay, you're good.
I'm
You're
back.
good. Yeah. It's all good.
I know.
No.
I'm muted now.
I'm gonna listen to that after we're done. Actually, I love that. No, I
If,
love like
if you like grimy like 90s boom bap, you'll fuck with that song.
that's my shit. Yeah. That's what I love about like learning, because you kind of learn about who the MC is too, like being a fan of the MC and then learning who they're into.
Yeah.
So
Actually,
like,
my biggest influence as rappers are Pace One and Young Z from the Outsiders. Those are like single-handedly,
dude,
like
I literally today was listening to the Green Tape on my way home from work. The Green Tape is one of
Pace
my
One.
favorite albums ever, bro. One of my favorite
Yeah,
albums ever. Four Quarters Make a
that's
Dollar,
what
hip hop, She Could Be So Cold. Like I'm like so straight. Everything's fucking fire. And he has like the MC Sham song where he references it. Like hip hop was made out in the dark. We used to do it out days in the park. Like,
Yeah, I
like bro,
remember that's the one. That's the one with Mr. Green. It has that song, "Children Sing" on it or whatever.
with the
That
children's
fucking beat.
audience. Yeah, bro. I remember
Yeah,
showing that to my friends and they're like, yo, this is weird. Why are they cheering? And then the beat drops after, oh my God. And like his Pace One's one of my favorite rappers ever. Actually, funny story, because I'm a fan of
yeah,
Madness too. Before we do our sign off or anything, I'm a fan of Madness. And I used to like, I followed all you guys on Facebook forever, right? And Madness had pictures of him from the 90s with a Pace One t-shirt. So I asked him, like, oh, I saw you had a Pace One t-shirt, a Pace One fan. He wasn't only a fan, but he got that shirt
yeah.
at a concert. Yeah, and he rapped with the Outsiders and shit. And I was like, come on,
He,
man.
yeah, he knows Yaya and shit. I remember because I was telling him about how like that because the Outsider, that's like my favorite shit. Like as rapping, like rappers, that is the best, is the Outsiders. Like Saz and all the even the little random dudes like Yaya, Saz, and like, you know what I mean, Slang Ton. Those fools were just like features, but have some of my favorite verses ever. You know what I'm saying? Or even like outlets of the Outsiders like Pip James and shit like that. Like just incredible like New Jersey rappers, bro. But Pace One and Young Z to me are like the epitome of like, you know what I'm saying? Like I Declare War, fucking Pace One, you know what I mean? Man without a doggone care, walk on air. Like, you know, it's like it's just like the illest, bro. He's just, you can't fucking touch that fool.
And you know who I think is a lot like Pace One? That's one of my favorite rappers too, is Masta Ace. I fucking love Masta Ace,
Yeah, yeah.
man. Like,
He's another dude with his like he has a very sound like rhyming ability. Like all his bars like rhyme
bro,
perfect.
he has
Just
one
drop.
whole song called Mr. Bus Driver, and it's all about riding on the bus and the experiences of people he sees through the bus. And I just love it because
Yeah.
I'm sure you know his song Take a Walk, where it's like living
I was
like
gonna say,
like
bring that up. Yeah. Take a Walk is like one of my all-time favorite like story songs, bro. Master Ace has like the illest concept songs too. Like, have you ever heard the songs Real Hill like Soda and Soap? You ever heard that where he just like flips names of shit and he kind of like tells the story, but he's like referencing like different brands of shit on some like battle rapper shit almost, you know what I mean? Where he's like doing punchlines with like brands of things, but he's like telling a story while he's doing it and shit. And it's just so fucking good, you know what I mean? Like, and like that's kind of a lost art too, because realistically, like when you listen to music, like a lot of times you just want to vibe out, but like that, like there should be appreciation for people who put in that much thought to like create a coherent story while also doing clever shit. Like that is like, you know, like that's some impressive shit. You know what I mean? Like that's, and Master Ace is incredible at that shit.
well, and like I have my one of my brothers, the one who like I stole the playlist from when I was a kid. Me and him aren't too close. He's a very like distant dude. He's very like I'm like, yo, happy birthday. He's like, yo, Sam, some people don't celebrate birthdays. But like I hit him up when MF Doom died and we like spoke for like a few hours because like just the impact he had on us and shit, you know, and the respect. Like
Yeah.
I have a t-shirt that's like an all caps album cover t-shirt and it's a Stone Throws Records like on the fucking tag. So like
Yeah.
been a fan forever,
The
like
OG.
Victor Von Doom and
Yeah.
shit. But yo, like,
I always tell people
no,
I
go.
got a Stone's Throw I got a Stone's Throw hoodie for my 12th birthday. So like I've been down,
Damn.
bro.
Okay, you beat me. You beat me. I was like 13.
But no, like thing for anyone who was like, that was a hard one, you know, because like especially like you were saying, like you grew up in that era, you know, like, and if you were there, MF Doom was always a staple, and like that was like never a dude you thought was gonna leave because he's the supervillain, you know what I mean? Like that was one dude in your head that was never gonna die because he was the supervillain, and he's MF Doom, and like he's over there taking over New York in a fucking spaceship or something, you know what I mean? Like that's how I imagine the dude. So when you hear he's human it was just like a fucking just knocked the air out of me. I remember I was in Safeway and I started crying. I had to go home. I couldn't even get my groceries. So I was like crying in the store, and my girl was like, "We could come back. This is like, you know what I mean? Like obviously you can't do this right now." You know what I mean?
Was hard. It was hard. I had to like reminisce and shit. One of my favorite collabs of all time is DJ Babu, Sean P, and MF Doom for The Unexpected. I don't know if you know one of my favorite tracks ever, man. Because I love DJ Babu from Dilated. Like I was a big Dilated fan, you know.
Have you ever heard "Work the Angles" by fucking Dilated Peoples? Like that Babu scratching on that song, I remember was like the first time when I was a kid when I understood like there was levels of scratching because of like what he was doing on that song. I was like that was like better than the two verses. Like,
bro, they had so much respect at like 2006 that Kanye did "This Way" with them, and like that's big for like how like underground of a group they were, you know.
To be like Evidence now, who just still makes grimy hip hop, and then just be like, "Yeah, I got a song with Kanye." Like, you know what I mean? Like that's like fucking crazy.
Or dude, in the Worst Comes to Worst music video, they had Guru in it, and he was just talking, and he's like, "When worst comes to worst, Dilated Peoples come first," and like that's because like Guru's one of my favorite MCs of all time. But yo, Reverse.
Yeah, that's definitely he was studio and then fucking there. Guru, get on the mic. Like,
exactly. Right. Yeah. Well, it's like another gem is I love DWYCK with Nice and Smooth and Guru. I don't know if you know that track, but like Nice and Smooth is one of my favorite artists.
I fucking love Greg Nice in like the weirdest way because he's like not a good rapper, and he always raps the same. But whenever I hear that motherfucker's voice on a song, I get hella hyped. Like on that song when like for some reason I don't know why it's yo.
But now, we're talking about Greg Nice.
I was gonna say
no, is it? And the funny thing with Greg Nice, he's so hype, and then Smooth B comes with like great rhymes as well, you know?
Yeah, because Greg Nice is never saying shit. He's like ooh yeah we
that it dude. And then he was actually featured on like this is super hip hop head in me. We're just delving into it, but he was on a Beatnuts song at the end of a Beatnuts song.
Oh,
yeah.
He's on Hot, and then he's on a couple of them. He was like he had a lot to do with the Beatnuts like at a certain point. But I remember at the end of Hot, is that what you're talking about? Or he just goes like the so damn ha like that's his whole like feat. But like I said, bro, like that's his whole thing. But I'm like hella hyped just because he's on the song. I don't give a fuck what he's doing. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, one of my favorite bars from back in the day was C-Ray's Walls had "I'll spit 16s in your face like twin Kobe's." And it was before Kobe changed his number to 24 and shit. Yeah. As a kid,
Walls, fucking forgotten gem. Well, all those like random like the Definitive Jukes dudes were crazy. I remember I was listening to C-Ray's Walls before he was on Definitive Jukes, like you know what I mean, like Sun Cycle MC and those albums and stuff. But Ravi Pop's the one that was on Def Jukes. That's a badass album right there, bro. Ravi Pop's is crazy.
Oh man, I love this. We're gonna have to have you on again. But like before we do stop the recording, everybody listen to GoldShards, Death Dealers Anonymous, all that shit. Keep in tune for Reverse with the upcoming season 1 and the outcome of all the divisions. Anything else you want to promote before we stop the recording, my guy? And thank you once again for being on. I appreciate it like a lot.
Yeah, dude, just want to go listen to my music. Just put Reverse Live, Spotify. I got my albums with my homie DJ Akoza. Soapbox Sermon. Me and him got a lot of shit coming out. That's like that dude actually is like was my favorite producer before we even like met or anything. So the fact I'm even working with him is insane. But that dude is he's like my producer now. So we're gonna drop a lot more shit. I have an album coming out with him. Soapbox Sermon Volume 2 is gonna come out, and I have another one with him and another producer named Cassette Decks from Chicago. And they have a beat they did together. I have one beat from Akoza and one beat from Dex. And that's a little EP I'm going to drop pretty soon too. So it's all just grimy hip hop shit, like trying to just keep that shit going. You know what I mean? Just just trying to like, I don't know, just be innovative and make new music for people and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, respect. And everybody, please go and do everything. And I'm going to link albums and music to Reverse in the description. So yeah, like, thanks for listening, y'all. I got a gem. I'll drop it right now. This person's been kind of in the depths, in the deep ends. People haven't known what's going on. But next week we have on Low Pesci from Canada.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Alien. Bring up Great Aliens.
Oh, I will. We're going to talk about Richard Branch and Sister Manson. Oh, I will. I'll tell him. Yo, thanks, Cody. And y'all, thanks for listening. Respect. We're keeping it going and we're trying to do something legendary. Have a good night. Have a good day. Have a good whatever the fuck you are, wherever the fuck you are. Peace out.